Hello there, my name is Irwan Syahrir. You are watching Ujar Pembaca Podcast. This episode is part of the Book from Indonesia series. In this episode, I would like to talk about a book titled Harimau by Mochtar Lubis. In English, the title would be Tiger with exclamation point. Let's just jump into the story. This is a story about an experience of a group of 7 men. They are living in a village near a jungle or a forest. I would believe it would be in Sumatra, judging from the background of the author and everything else about the story. And this group of men, 7 of them, used to go, or they're going to the forest to collect resin and then to hunt some animal as well. There are 3 of them are in their 50s and 60s, so they're quite older and respected and have some respectable qualities about them. And then they were joined by 4 other men, young men, under 30s. And 6 of them are married and have children, and one of them, the youngest, 19 years old, are unmarried and no children. Why am I mentioning this? It would be part of the dynamic of the story later on. And there are other secondary characters, a couple, Wak Hitam and Siti Rubiah. They are a couple. The husband was old and at 70 years old, and the wife, Siti Rubiah, is only 19. She's a young and beautiful woman. They live in a house inside the jungle, I think, very far away from the village. And those people who are coming to collect resin in the jungle stayed in their house. And this young man, especially the young man and the old one as well, has some feelings toward Siti Rubiah, the young wife. And it is also part of the tension in the story. And according to the title as well, there is a non-human character, which is the tiger. There is a superstition among the villagers that when they are inside the forest, they shouldn't mention tiger, the word tiger, or otherwise the tiger will appear and attack them. So they have the habit to call them with the word nenek, which means literally a grandma, despite of the gender of the animal. I noted several memorable moments. One of them, the book or the story described very well the daily life of the villagers, their tradition, their beliefs from religion or superstitions, and their norms. For example, that people have their own place in the society according to what they have done, their reputation, or their wealth, or their age, not to say the least. So what happens in the story reflects or tell us a lot about it, especially if you are a city person, or maybe not even Indonesian. This probably a rich description of how living in Indonesian village would be. And a part of all those, there is also hidden desires. These desires are often contradict the norms or the belief, religious belief or the tradition, but they are there, and that makes the story balance out, and it's part of the interesting part of the story. And then they enter the jungle, and they face the first attack of the tiger. I will not spoil too much, But there is a tiger attack there, and facing this stress, adversity, and all this threat, they become they felt threatened, and the group start to break down, and there is also personal breakdown as well. The main cause of this is that the first victim of the attack associate the tiger with the tiger attack, especially with the warning from God. Then you should repent, you should declare, or you should admit or confess the sins you have done, because otherwise there will be the next victim. And then this will create pressure to the other member of the groups, and they start to break down personally or as well interpersonally between the group members. And it comes to my next note or next point. The tiger here, or the harimau in Indonesian, is used both literally and metaphorically. Literally, it is an animal that is a danger to the life of the people in the story. But there are also a metaphor, for example, a warning from God, as well as a part of humanity that is animalistic, that is full of sin, that is dark, that is doing something that is not supposed to be doing. So conquering the tiger can also literally mean killing the animal, or conquering your dark side, your own dark side. All in all, this is a very well written story. That's why I picked this book into this series. The writing is very easy for me, and it's very exciting. You can almost say it's a page turner. It is very enticing, especially the description about the hidden desires. It's quite reflective. I love the moment when they're waiting. This is a hunting expedition, and they have to wait until the next day, or to wait while chasing the tiger. And then they start to having memories about past lives, about intimate details, or about sins and stuff like, or the feelings, guilt, pleasure, or conceited, and other mixed feelings. As a reader, I sort of enjoy them. So I know that for example, they are waiting for the tiger to appear, but at the same time you are inside their inner word, inner dialogue. And the character itself becomes multi-dimensional, because in the beginning, when the story introduces them, they were presented as a respectable part of the society, or a very promising youth person who is very happy, cheerful, and likes playing music, and all those things. Those sound so positive. But later on, facing the adversity and the personal background, you suddenly got refilled with all those details that is not really positive. So you get the feeling that the character is human. They are balanced in a way. So that, and also the use of the tiger as a metaphor and as a literary device, I suppose that was criticized as being too explicit with the moral message, because you don't need to guess the story is really about this. It's almost preachy in a way, according to some critic that I read. But I personally don't mind about it, because it seems to me, I feel like I can still enjoy the story anyway. And the last point I note about the memorable moments there, if you know what flow state is, and I will encourage you to search on the internet, one of the final scenes, I'm not going to spoil it too much, the final scene really makes me suddenly think, oh, this is a flow state. And it's quite interesting to find it that way. Those are the memorable moments, and I think that could be the basic for you to look for this book. It is the book is written by Mochtar Lubis. The author was born in 1922 and died in 2004. He was kind of a household names in my school years in the late 90s, or maybe the early one as well, because he is a known journalist and a novelist as well. And he was also vocal politically, so he had some trouble. Maybe he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was imprisoned by one of the regime during his life. He has lots of achievement. One of them is his novel Senja di Jakarta, or Twilight in Jakarta. It was the first Indonesian novel to be translated into English. And he also had received numerous awards, including Ramon Magsaysay Award in 1958 and Golden Pen of Freedom Award in 1967, and many others. Back to the book. This book was first released in 1975, before my time. And my edition was from 2020. I was a bit ashamed that I just read this recently. And it was published by Yayasan Pustaka Obor Indonesia. That's the publisher. In the blurb, it is said that, on the back page actually, this book has been translated to English, Dutch, German, and Japanese in the making in 2020. Probably it should have been finished now. And in Wikipedia, I checked that it also has been translated into Mandarin. So, back to you now. If you think that this book is interesting, please find the book. If it is available in your language, then you can just enjoy it right away. If not, feel free to contact your favorite publisher and make this book available in your language. Alright, that's all for today. See you next time with another book from Indonesia. Bye-bye.